When my wife passed away 2 years ago, our home became a museum of memories I couldn't bear to touch. I'm Arthur Bennett. I'm 68 years old, and I was left alone in a 3-bedroom house surrounded by 40 years of accumulation. I was completely alone with decades of stuff. I could barely breathe. Today, I'm going to tell you the raw, ugly truth nobody else has the guts to say. Your kids are going to hate your crap. When you're gone, they will back a moving truck up to your front door and shovel your precious, hoarded memories straight into a landfill. I spent months paralyzed by grief and exhausted by the sheer physical and mental weight of my own house. You probably think holding on to every little thing keeps your loved ones close or makes you feel secure. It doesn't. It anchors you to a past that is over and ruins the present. I finally broke free. I'm going to give you 10 brutal, counterintuitive rules to take control of your life back. No weekend cleaning marathons. No life coach nonsense. Just the reality check you need right now. Rule number 1, the stranger test. After my wife died, I was drowning in paperwork, greeting cards, and useless junk. The psychological trick that saved me was pretending a complete stranger would be going through my belongings after I was gone. You have to ask yourself one simple question about every item. Would a stranger understand why I kept this? Or would they think I was a hoarder? When you imagine someone else making decisions about your possessions, you suddenly see them with crystal clarity, instead of through the fog of guilt, nostalgia, and obligation. I looked at my stack of magazines from 2003, and I realized a stranger would toss them in the recycling without a second thought. I had over 300 books I'd read once and would honestly never read again. I had outdated computer manuals and diet books from the 1980s. The stranger test was brutally clear. Keeping books you'll never reread is just hoarding with an educational excuse attached. Stop acting like your living room is the Library of Congress. Go to your bookshelf right now. Grab 5 books you haven't opened in a decade and throw them in a donation box today. What's the one category of items you hold on to that would make absolutely no sense to a stranger? Tell me in the comments down below. Rule number 2, the replacement reality check. This is for those of you clinging to garbage because, what if I need this someday? I used to justify my hoarding with that exact lie. I had 12 screwdrivers scattered throughout various junk drawers. I finally asked myself, if I needed this exact item tomorrow, could I realistically get another one? What would it actually cost me to replace this item in today's market? The answer? I could get a screwdriver from any hardware store or the dollar store for under $15. In the last 5 years, how many times had I actually needed more than one screwdriver? Exactly 0. I also had a bread maker I'd used exactly twice in 10 years. If I suddenly developed a passion for homemade bread, I could buy a better model for $20 at any thrift store. Holding on to everything just in case was actually costing me more than occasionally replacing something would. I was paying the hidden costs of storage space, mental stress, cleaning time, and living in chaos for the theoretical savings of a $5 replacement. The math is stupid. Go to your garage or kitchen today and throw out the rusty tools or the dumb appliance you haven't plugged in since 2015. What item are you holding on to that you could replace for under $20? Tell me in the comments. Rule number 3, the 10-minute sprint. Do not try to clean an entire room today. You are my age. Your physical energy runs out fast. But more importantly, seniors have about 10 minutes of emotional decision-making energy before mental fatigue sets in and everything becomes overwhelming. After that threshold, you start keeping everything because deciding becomes too mentally exhausting to handle. I learned to set a timer for exactly 10 minutes per specific area. 1 closet shelf, 1 kitchen drawer, 1 bathroom cabinet. When that timer went off, I stopped immediately. In 10 minutes, you simply cannot overthink decisions. You're forced to trust your gut instincts, and your gut usually knows exactly what you really need versus what you're holding on to out of guilt or irrational fear. I tackled my bedroom dresser, found expired medications from 1998, 17 pens that no longer worked, and enough loose buttons to start a craft store. I filled an entire trash bag in 10 minutes. Set a 10-minute timer on your phone right now. Pick one small area and declutter as fast as you can. When the timer beeps, stop. What is your clutter hotspot? What's the one cluttered spot that drives you crazy every time you see it? Drop it in the comments below. Rule number 4, the triage method. I borrowed this from emergency medicine. Just like doctors don't spend equal time on every patient, you can't spend equal time on every possession. I divided everything into 3 brutal categories in just 15 minutes per room. Category 1 is what you can't live without: medications, important documents, and daily essentials. Category 3 is what you haven't touched in over a year: automatic elimination, no exceptions. But here is the ruthless truth. Category 2, the might need it someday items, gets treated exactly like Category 3. That might need it someday is just fear talking, and fear will keep you surrounded by clutter forever. I applied this to my kitchen. In 15 minutes, I identified that I had 23 coffee mugs, 3 complete sets of china I hadn't used since 1987, and enough kitchen gadgets to stock a small restaurant. The triage was swift and merciless. I kept 2 favorite mugs, donated all the china sets, and trashed 90% of the gadgets. Keeping everything just in case had made me feel trapped, anxious, and overwhelmed. Walk into your kitchen today and box up the duplicate spatulas and the 20 extra mugs. How many spatulas do you actually own? Tell me in the comments. Rule number 5, the no-brainer toss. Stop treating literal garbage like it requires a committee to throw away. I used to pick up old receipts or broken pens and set them back down, thinking I'd deal with it later. I had a habit of holding on to things because throwing them away felt like a decision I didn't want to make. Here is the rule. If you instantly know something is trash, toss it now. No second guessing. If your gut reaction says it's junk, it's junk. I opened a drawer and found a pile of old takeout menus from places that had closed years ago. Instead of setting them back down, I tossed them immediately. Then I moved on to expired coupons, dried up pens, mismatched socks, and empty bottles of lotion. No hesitation, no guilt, just instant clutter relief. The moment you start tossing obvious junk, you feel lighter, less overwhelmed. Take 30 seconds right now. Look around. Spot something that's obvious trash, like a stretched out rubber band or a sock with a hole, and toss it. What is the weirdest piece of clutter you found in your home? Let me know in the comments. Rule number 6, the future self-test. You are suffocating your present life to maintain a museum of who you used to be. Every decluttering decision must be based on who you are actively becoming, not who you used to be. The test asks one powerful question. Does keeping this item serve the person I'm growing into, or is it anchoring me to a past that's already complete? I had a closet full of business suits representing decades of achievement, but my future self was a relaxed retiree. Those power suits weren't serving my future. They were anchoring me to a past identity that was already beautifully complete. Keeping outdated business books wasn't honoring my past. It was actually preventing me from embracing new interests. When you make decisions based on your future self instead of your past self, letting go becomes exciting instead of painful. I donated commercial-grade cooking pots because my past self needed them for entertaining, but my future self wanted a simple, peaceful space for light meals. Go to your closet today and pull out the clothes for the career you retired from, or the body you haven't had in 20 years. Who is your future self? And what does that emerging person need to thrive in the time you have left? Share your vision in the comments. Rule number 7, the one-touch sorting system. The biggest mistake we make is creating maybe piles. You pick something up, you don't want to deal with it, so you put it in a pile of items you might keep, might donate, or might throw away. Those piles just sit there day after day and nothing ever leaves the house. Stop shuffling your junk. Instead of moving things around over and over, you make a decision the first time you touch an item. Set up 3 boxes: keep, donate, and trash. Pick up an item and sort it immediately. No setting it down to think about it later. If it takes longer than 3 seconds to decide whether to keep something, it probably needs to go. Sorting immediately eliminates procrastination because you don't leave clutter sitting around, and it forces real progress. Grab your mail pile right now. Touch each envelope once. Trash, bill, or file. Do not set a single envelope back down on the counter. Do you have a doom pile of paperwork sitting on your dining table right now? Be honest in the comments. Rule number 8. Keep the memory, not the clutter. This is the hardest pill to swallow. You are drowning in sentimental items because you think throwing away the object means deleting the memory. It doesn't. Memories don't need to take up space. The love and meaning are in the moments, not the objects. I had 23 albums filled with blurry vacation photos, duplicates, and pictures of people I could no longer identify. Most of these photos meant nothing to anyone, and holding on to them was just obligation. Instead of holding on to everything, take a picture. Snap a photo of sentimental items before letting them go. You can hold a memory celebration where you thank each batch of pictures for capturing precious moments. Then release them, knowing the memories live permanently in your heart, not in cardboard boxes. I condensed 23 albums into 3 beautiful ones. I took pictures of old kids' drawings, created a digital album, and threw the physical copies away. Take a picture of that ugly sentimental knick-knack today and put it in the donation bin. What is the hardest sentimental item for you to declutter? Tell me down below. Rule number 9, the energy investment scale. You simply do not have unlimited energy to spend agonizing over every single object in your home. Stop treating all possessions as equally important. I created a scale from 1 to 10. Level 1 items get 0 emotional energy. They go straight to donation or trash without any analysis or guilt. I had decades of might-be-useful items in my garage, like garden tools for a garden I no longer maintain due to arthritis. They rated a 1, and out they went without ceremony. I had dining room chairs stored just in case I hosted a big dinner party, but I hadn't hosted more than 4 people in 8 years. Those chairs were costing me storage space for an event that would likely never happen. They rated a 1. The items I'd been spending the most emotional energy worrying about were often the least important to my actual daily comfort. Go into your basement or garage today. Find one massive, useless piece of furniture you are saving for a fantasy event and call a charity to haul it away. What items in your home are stealing your emotional energy without giving you anything positive in return? Put it in the comments. Rule number 10, the daily 5-minute reset. I used to tell myself I didn't have time to clean, but in truth, I was spending hours each week dealing with chaos. I would wake up to a messy kitchen, crumbs on the table, and start the new day in yesterday's clutter. Small tasks, when delayed, build an invisible pressure. I've gone to bed frustrated just from a few small tasks I hadn't dealt with. Now I set a timer for 5 minutes before bed. I straighten up one small area, like the coffee table or kitchen counter. Just 5 minutes of light tidying each night. I don't wait for the house to get messy to clean. I just do a little each day, like saying a soft goodbye to today. I wipe the counter, wash a cup, and straighten the chair. In the morning, I wake up feeling calm instead of overwhelmed. My mind isn't holding on to unfinished tasks. Before you go to bed tonight, set a timer for 5 minutes and see how much you can tidy up. What is the one thing that always seems to go missing in your house? Let me know in the comments. Listen to me. My house is still old and small, but inside me there's now a little space to breathe. I can finally sit in my living room without clutter everywhere, and I wake up feeling free instead of overwhelmed. Your home isn't meant to be a museum of the past. It should be a place where you feel calm, happy, and free. You don't need a bigger house, you need less stuff. I thought I was just clearing out my house, but I was actually clearing out my life for the next chapter. Don't leave your kids with a house full of useless garbage because you were too cowardly to deal with your own reality. Take action now. If you want to stop being a hostage to your own stuff, subscribe to the channel. I'm Arthur Bennett. Go throw something away.